state of the nation, according to Rise and Zanzi, what does it look like?
So it's not all bad news. I'm not one to believe that everything has gone wrong in South Africa. The G20 was a success. Obviously, the concern that you then put is you had commitments that were made at the G20. They might not be carried forward because of what the attitude of the US towards South Africa. So it might very well be that the US presidency actually wants to start everything from scratch, when you had an instance where South Africa carried on from what had transpired in the Brazil, when Brazil hosted the G20 in 2024. So those commitments for me, they are at risk. But there are things that you start seeing that no, there are promises. Like last year, it was not dominated with load shedding, for instance. There was not a lot of load shedding. Yes, there were municipalities that were affected with load reduction, but in the main, load shedding was not the dominant word of 2025. There are encouraging signs, for instance, in the tourism space, now that we have the numbers that have returned to the pre-COVID era, and also the news around the performance of SAE, for instance. It's not something that we should look at it and say, all right, now that you are working, then we are not going to mention it. But one of the key things, and it goes to the first duty or responsibility of the state, of government, is to protect its citizens, is to protect its people. And at the moment, South Africans are not feeling safe, and they are losing their trust in the ability of government to protect them, to protect us, because of some of the revelations coming out of Matlanga that my colleague mentioned. Because what that tells you is that there are men and women who are in blue, who are in uniform. When they go to work in the morning, they are not going there to protect South Africans. They are going there to line their own pockets. They are fighting all these fights. And I said this, Faith, on the 4th of July, even before that press conference, I said the fights that we are seeing in the police have got very little to do about protecting me and you. They've got everything to do with accessing the money that is given to the police. And that's what as South Africans are worried about. So if there's one thing that the president must come strongly about, it's the leadership of the South African Police Service, the leadership of the National Prosecuting Authority. Yes, we appreciate that, or we welcome the appointment of Advocate Mtivi, but then there's the senior management of the NPA that got hollowed out. And like it's been said, you cannot ignore the water issue, because even in the last State of the Nation last year, it did speak about the water issues. But another critical point, though, even as we go to the local government,